Welcome to First Intuition's revision session. Tax processes for business today. Finance Act 2024 with me, Anne. And today we're going to be having a look at the final task in this assessment. It's in the payroll section of the syllabus, dealing with reporting of VAT and payroll information. So tasks 1 to 6 are all about VAT. Task 7 is purely payroll. And task 8 is about reporting both VAT and payroll information. So the final task in the assessment. We will, as always, be making use of our reference material, so do keep that to hand. It's available to you throughout the assessment in pop-up windows, so make sure to have it available now, although on exam day it will be available under these headings. The AAT sample assessment or practice assessment on their website will give you access to this reference material with those pop-up windows, so you can start to feel what it looks like and what it feels like. So this task then is about reporting information, as in letting HMRC know what's happening. So what do we have to do? Understand the process for getting information over to HMRC, understand the approval process. So before we send our figures to HMRC, maybe who in our organisation should sign those off, both the payroll and the reports. Communicate the information, as in this is how much we've got to pay, this is what happens if we don't pay, be able to communicate that in an email or a memo. Communicate the effect of the VAT return. When does it need to be paid? How is it going to be paid? Or how will the reclaim work? What's the amount? When will it come? Understand who would need to be informed if there's a change in VAT legislation, why they need to know, and then advise them by email or memo. So quite a varied task, this one, but a nice one. So you are the accounts assistant for Doggy Daycare. Your responsibility includes preparing payroll. The supervisor of the support staff approves the hours. Always good to have a supervisor approving things. Payments are prepared by the business owner. It's their money, so they want to keep a close handle on that, who also runs the business day to day. We pay HMRC quarterly using faster payments, so electronic banking. The year-end financial statements are prepared by an external accountant. We've got the wages report for the quarter to June of X2. And just because I sort of feel like I can't help it, it's almost a compulsion, I feel like I want to draw a timeline. Maybe not be needed at all, but just so I can appreciate I'm covering the periods of April, May and June. This is the wages report. Gross wages, obviously, that's what we pay to our staff member. They would pay income tax, they would pay employees national insurance. The company would be responsible for paying employers national insurance. And in this one, we've got an extra little bonus to talk about being the employment allowance. One of HMRC's incentives, or the government incentive, to try to encourage people to employ staff by giving them a bit of a discount, if you like, on their employer's national insurance. So even though we've got 1,056.76 due, we won't need to pay it all because of this employment allowance. So it just makes everybody a little bit better off, and hopefully then doesn't discourage them from employing more people. Right. So I think these first couple of questions are hopefully straightforward enough. Identify who you will send the wages report to for approval. What does it say? The supervisor approves the hours. So the supervisor has approved how many hours have been worked. As the assistant accountant, you've then gone and produced a whole payroll report. The payments themselves are done by the business owner, and they're responsible for the day-to-day running of the business. So before I go ahead and pay anybody, I'm going to speak to the business owner. And if you're not completely sure, just look at the other options. HMRC don't want to approve your wages report. They just want their money. The external accountant deals with the preparation of the year-end accounts. It doesn't say they get involved with your periodic payroll. In terms of completing the year-end financial statements, then of course, the accountant who prepares the year-end financial statements will then want the year-end wages report. Don't have an issue with that. Can we then complete some details in terms of payroll information, starting with the amount due? How much do I owe to HMRC? I'm going to put the workings for this up here, just so I'm not scrolling up and down. So the amount due to HMRC would consist of tax, employee, national insurance, employer national insurance, because we're now looking at the amount that needs to be paid to HMRC. Not just the bits that have been deducted from the employee, but everything together. So we have to pay employer national insurance, and that's actually a cost to the company. These are deductions from the employee pay. This is an additional cost to the company. But the good news is they get a bit of a break here because there was an incentive, and they get an employment allowance just to reduce that employer's NI and encourage people to employ a few more staff. So I think amount due to HMRC in total is 2972.17. Label the last one for you working there. So 2972.17. And paid to HMRC by when? Let's have a look at payroll deadlines. That should tell us, shouldn't it? Payment date for monthly payroll: the 22nd of the following month if paid electronically, or the 19th otherwise. Just a reminder, payments to HMRC are made quarterly by faster payments. So we do pay electronically. So we are going to pay on the 22nd of the month. Because we pay electronically, that's the key. So 22nd of July at XT2 in this question. And the amount due to HMRC can be paid quarterly as the average monthly pay-as-you-earn payment is less than. I was going to read that bit when we were there and I thought, no, I'll spoil it. If the amount that you have owing on average on a monthly basis is less than 1,500, you don't have to pay every month. You can just pay quarterly. Even when you do pay quarterly, your quarterly payment, and I think that's a little bit misleading because it says monthly payroll, but your quarterly payment is also due on the 22nd. All payments are due on the 22nd if you pay electronically, on the 19th if you don't. But because our liability is 2972.17 for a whole 3 months, that's less than 1,500 a month. And if we owe less than 1,500 a month, we have this option to pay quarterly. So that's that. And then to finish off, which of the following statements are true regarding late submission of payroll and payments? Section 23, penalties for late submission of filings, and then penalties for late payment. Different sections, different areas. Make sure you know what the question is asking. So firstly, penalties may apply if the full payment submission, or FPS, was filed late. So we're talking late filing to start with. First sentence, penalties may apply if the FPS was late. There you go. There's your answer. True. Penalties are payable at the same rate, irrespective of whether the error is due to carelessness or whether they are deliberate and concealed. So penalties in respect of errors. Payroll inaccuracies. So these are penalties now for filing an inaccurate return. And it's saying they're payable at the same rate, irrespective of whether we are careless or deliberate and concealed. But they're not the same rate, are they? They're quite different. Deliberate is between 20 and 70, or then 30 and 100, or different if we're looking at a prompter disclosure. So what I need to say there is, no, that's actually wrong. They're different. And then penalties may apply if the employer payment summary was not filed, even if you did not pay anybody in a month. So we're looking at no filing as opposed to late filing. So penalties for late submission. Penalties may apply if the EPS was not filed, full stop. So it doesn't matter whether you have any employees or not, you still file it. And if you need to say, oh, I didn't pay anybody this month, then it will just be very quick to do. But HMRC still need to know, otherwise they're thinking, where is it? Why haven't you done it? So the EPS was not filed at all. So a penalty does still apply. So I'm going to say yes to that one. And that's it. That's the end of that task. So that has been a series then of lectures making our way through First Intuition mock number 1. If you're a student of First Intuition, of course, you're now in a position to go on and try mock 2, also then mocks 3 and 4 on your FI learning portal. And then for everybody, also have a look at the AAT practice assessments on their website. If you are not a student of First Intuition, then you may be interested to know that you can actually buy an FI mock bank, which will give you access to our mocks 3 and 4. And you can get details about our mock product from our website or by emailing aat@fi.co.uk, where somebody will direct you to the relevant section. But otherwise, check the website. There are details on there. If you just search for mock product, you will find some details. So hopefully that has been helpful. Any questions, if you are an FI student, please contact your tutor and make sure that you get them resolved before your live assessment. Okay, thank you for listening.